Well, that's what I'm probably going to title this video here. You'd think, after about 11 weeks, it's time for a haircut here. Hi there, it's Brent Hornby here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel here, and got kind of still tying with sports here with talking about hair here, as yeah, it's been 11 weeks since I've had a haircut here, and I decided to make this video because my next video here, I'm planning on looking somewhat back to normal here, and definitely that's something we're craving for during this time with this global pandemic with COVID-19 or coronavirus here. But yeah, this is what my hair looks like when not having a cut for 11 weeks here. Well, just might as well do a max headroom and turn around here. Give you an idea that I'm starting to see some waves here. I mean, when I was younger, I definitely had longer hair. And I definitely have the thick curly kind here. And, in the 90s here, a lot of people, especially guys, definitely grew their hair much longer. Especially some famous athletes that I know here. The one here I definitely recognize and would say has the most famous mullet is Jammer, who actually did spend some time with the Calgary Flames. But I definitely remember Yager in his younger days. When he won a couple of Stanley Cups in his first couple seasons in the NHL with the Pittsburgh Penguins here. My dad also had that kind of hairstyle, thick and curly, and I did that too, actually, as a younger boy. That I thought, his hair looked just like Dad's. So I definitely had my hair longer in the back, like much longer than I have right now. Like, I remember the first time that I had, I guess you could say, a mullet here. I definitely had enough that it covered my neck here. And I know that I saw many hockey players, I guess that's that term coined, hockey hair here. I mean, I know the 80s had their big metal hairband, but I know in the 90s definitely, I remember a lot of players had, a kind of a mullet there. Yager is definitely the most famous one, and you could say today, Patrick Kane definitely has a much, much smaller version of it. And I think Patrick Kane looks like he does have the same kind of thick and curly hair that I have here. But I remember, even Wayne Gretzky briefly had a mullet. I know Theoren Fleury in his younger days had a mullet here, and heck, I even remember Doug Gilmour when he did play with the Flames there. And I know that during his heyday, especially when I say we made the worst trade in franchise history, and we shipped him off to Toronto, that he definitely had some Head and Shoulders commercial there. So definitely Gilmour had some endorsements with his hair here. But as a Stampeder fan, I remember when we had Doug Flutie in his heyday. I remember he had a little bit of a mullet here, his hair flying out of his helmet here. And then another picture that I remember that looked very intimidating, especially in his early days. His hair looks a little straighter than mine here, but he, 6'10", Randy Johnson, the left-hander. Oh, he looked very intimidating. And I'm talking about his Seattle Mariners days, and then eventually, in that spring training there, when he was with the Arizona Diamondbacks there, he threw a ball that hit a bird. It looked like poof. That was just by chance there, but those are like some famous hairs that I think of that has kind of my style. Kind of a mullet that's thick, curlier. I mean, I know that Bret the Hitman Hart, but his hair is just long and straight, and that's for one of the wrestlers there. And I remember Chris Simon, who also spent some time with the Calgary Flames on the magical run that we had in 2004, and fortunately he missed most of it with an injury there. And actually, shortly after when he came into town here, I remember I was working security at the bank there, and this was after still in the first round against Vancouver there. He just got injured in that series there, and I had this big tall guy. He had a toque on, and the voice sounded familiar, and the face sounded a little familiar. And then he asked me to be sure, and he was showing me the paycheck, and then I realized it's Christopher Simon, Calgary Flames, and he was just checking to make sure if he could deposit in because he didn't want to charge fees on it. And I was like, hey, you're Chris Simon. And then I had to ask him if he by any chance had his cup ring on, because going back to the hair there, when he was on the Colorado Avalanche team in 1996, when he won the Stanley Cup with them, and I get he was seeking another ring with the Calgary Flames, and what if? But his hair was just long and straight there. But The reason why I don't have long hair, and it's definitely time for a haircut here, and barbershops and hair salons were closed during the pandemic here, but now finally they're allowed to be reopened here, and finally have my appointment here because I get a haircut on average once every 4 weeks here, and if by any chance, if I'm not available or my hairdresser's not available in those 4 weeks, I move it up to 3 weeks or 2 weeks if necessary. Because lately, I've been wanting to have my hair tight here. Because, some would say it's a shame that I, keep my hair short here because I have nice natural curly hair here, but I've grown it long a few times in the past to the point where I was anxious to chop it off here because it gets too hot up there in the summer and definitely gets a lot to manage here. And in this case, this is not intentional, it's just with the situation of COVID-19, and gladly I'll be able to finally get a haircut after this video here tomorrow with my appointment, as I know here. So my next videos here, my hair will be back to normal, and maybe that will somehow be a symbol that things are slowly getting back to normal here, as they're now in the phase 1 when it comes to reopening things. But those are other famous hairs I can think of. Oh yeah, I just thought of one more. Although it's a different style, and it could be something I could pull off if I wanted to. It's going back to the 2004 Stanley Cup run here. One called Hero from that 104 run was defenseman Mike Commodore. He definitely wasn't famous for his hair as well with the Calgary Flames, and then also with the Carolina Hurricanes there, where he kind of had a big fro there. And I know I could probably potentially pull that off, except mine's all, starting to get, dirty blonde with gray now. But Mike Commodore definitely looked good wearing red with the Flames. And it was nice to see him win the Stanley Cup, especially against Edmonton's expense with the Carolina Hurricanes, because he had a nice natural red hair, and it poofed out like that. And also I did remember he did say, I remember hearing him saying that in order for him to put his helmet on before a game, he actually had to dip his hair in a bowl of water so he could put it on. So, and I know that some of my hats that I wear in videos here are starting to get a little tight here, and but no, I am not planning on growing my hair long. And even if I did, when I did in the past here, it needed to get trimmed off for split ends there. I know definitely the ladies would know that, especially ladies in general like to have longer hair here, and some ladies, it pulls it off where they have their hair long, but then when you see a lady and then has longer hair and then eventually, they chop it off, you look at them a lot differently here, and sometimes their face looks more lively and more bright when they, you see a lady with long hair for years and then she cuts it off. It's the same lady, but it just changes your perspective, and I know that's definitely a dramatic shift there, but that's a lot of talking about hair here is, after 11 weeks, it's time for a haircut, and this guy is anxious to get one here, and I know, and I had my hair longer too when I worked retail, or one time I was able to put a ponytail. It's usually the older ladies that said, "Oh, you have nice hair," and maybe some get jealous that I don't need to perm mine, but I'd like to have mine short here because it gets too hot in the summer and too much manage here. So let's give one more look to this hair here before, in my next video, I plan I'll be back to normal, and hopefully it's going to get back to normal. And maybe, with less hair in my head here, more of this, stress and anxiety that we've been feeling during this time here, with all the COVID-19 and not knowing what's going to happen here. Maybe some of that will escape here because it won't get slowed down by my thick curly hair here. So anyway, if you want to follow along with this Calgary sports fans journey, home of the Flames, Hitmen, the Roughnecks, and Stampeders, I mostly talk Calgary sports here and tied some Calgary sports in here, and let's talk about hair, and remember some sports athletes that were known for their long hair that kind of has the same style that I naturally have here. But I also do personal vlogs, attempt to comedy, and I also do share my experiences. Let's say I'm on the road or at a sporting event here. So if that sounds like y'all be interested in to follow along with this Calgary sports fans journey, regardless how much hair I do have on my head here, but this is not intentional for growing it out this long here. That's just the way it is, and the government didn't allow hair salons and barbershops to be open until recently here, and I'm definitely anxious to kiss as much of this goodbye here. And I know what I usually do is I get the number 2 razor in the back and the sides here, and I get the top here cut off as short as possible here. But I went from one extreme to the other too. I remember when I was in my teenager years that parents didn't like too much about it. I had the number 2 to my whole head here, and just to see what it was like here, and that was definitely an interesting experience. Showering felt weird. Well, my parents didn't like it because they said I looked like an escaped convict. But then people at school were like, "Hey, what the hell did you do to your hair?" And people want to do that rub thing. But hey, everyone's entitled to one bad haircut. When they're growing up, that was my one bad haircut here. But I'm going to be looking forward to getting it back to normal here. So as I say, I'll see you in the next video here. Hopefully with a lot less hair on my head here, because I'm not planning on doing the Yammer Yager mullet here anytime soon. I'll let him keep flowing that hair because it's too much to manage for me to worry about. So I'll see you in the next video.